This video will show you how to set up your first instance of the Eclypses MTE Relay Server. So when you subscribe to this product, you will get a Docker image URL that you can use to stand up your first Docker container running this software. So I'm going to go to the Elastic Container Service dashboard, and the first thing we're going to do is create a new task definition. So I'm going to click to create a new task definition. We will name the family MTE Relay Server Demo. Okay. We'll come down. All of this looks fine. For demo purposes, I'm going to set this to 2 gigabytes of memory, which should be sufficient. I'm going to give the task role the ECS task execution role. Down here for our first container, I'm going to name it MTE Relay Demo Server. Actually, let's say Server Demo. And then I'm going to put in my Docker image, so you'll get this when you subscribe to the product. The container runs on port 8080, so you can put that in here. Everything else looks fine. Now we do need to add a couple of environment variables to get this to run how we expect it to. So the first and most important environment variable is called the upstream variable. And if we look at our diagram here, this is what we're setting up, the MTE Relay Server. So when a new request comes in and gets decoded, we need to know where to send that request to. And this is called the upstream. So we can provide this as a private IP address or a DNS record, and what I'm going to do is just provide a DNS record that I have pre-set up and ready to go. The next environment variable that we will need is called the client ID secret, and I'm going to paste that in right here. Now this can be just any random string, and the server is going to use this to sign client IDs that get issued to the client. So I'm going to copy and paste that in here. So if I look at my diagram again, when a client connects, the server is going to issue that client an ID so that it can keep track of all the separate clients, and that ID is going to be signed using this client ID secret. So you can just generate any random string and use that. Lastly, because I am using a website to interface with this relay server, I'll have to provide a CORS origin environment variable. And this is a browser requirement for talking between different servers and websites. So I'm just going to put in the website that I'm using, which is HTTP localhost 3000. If you have multiple websites, you can comma separate them. So I could include mywebsite.com. I just have the one, so I'm just going to leave it at just the one. So I can go ahead and scroll down. I'm going to leave the default logs alone. We'll scroll down. Everything else looks good. Let's create this task definition. And then let's go to our clusters. I have an empty demo cluster pre-set up, and I'm going to launch that task that we just created as a service in this cluster. So let's click to create a new service. Let's scroll down. This all looks good. From the family, I'm going to select the family I just created. Revision number 1. The service name will be MTE Relay Demo Service. We just want one of them to run. You could want 2 or 3 and load balance requests between all of them. We're not going to do that in this demo. So I'm going to scroll down to networking. Choose the VPC that you're going to run it on, and then choose the correct security group for your instance. I have pre-created this relay demo security group so that it can accept requests, but go ahead and set that up for your specification. Then lastly, I am going to create a load balancer. So I'll create an application load balancer, and I'll create a new one, and I'll call it MTE Relay Server Load Balancer. For health check, I'll put 30 seconds. This load balancer is going to listen on port 80 for HTTP traffic. You can set it up for port 443 for HTTPS traffic, and in production we do recommend you do that, but I'm not going to do that during this demo because then you have to set up TLS certificates and all of that. I'm going to give it a new target group name because this one's kind of long. Say MTE Demo Target Group. And then for the health check path, I'm going to add MTE echo. So this is just an echo route that responds with 200 just to let us know that the server has been created successfully. So let's go ahead and create this service. And I can see here this notification is telling me that the deployment is in progress and it will take a few minutes. So I'll just pause this video and come back when it's been deployed successfully. Okay, so this service has been deployed successfully. If I click on the service, I can go to the logs and I can see here, let's see if I scroll down a little bit. The server is listening on port 8080, so that looks good to me. If I go back to health and metrics and then go view the load balancer, we're going to have to change the security group on the load balancer before we can receive new requests here. So I'm going to edit the security group, and I'm going to modify the security group to be my web traffic security group so that it can receive requests from the internet. So okay, then I'm going to copy this DNS name of my load balancer, which is pointing back to my new MTE relay service. And if I copy this up here and paste it and go to my echo route, we should see a successful response, and we do see a successful response. And if I add an additional option, we should see this get echoed back to us, and we do. So at this point, we have now successfully set up our very first MTE relay server, and in the next video, what we're going to do is set up the MTE relay client so that we can get requests going back and forth between the two, completely protected by MTE.